This is a troubleshooting video for everyone with a 1998 Chevrolet Silverado who's having issues with their transmission and with their gauge pod. So diagnosis was stuck in third gear, could manually shift to second, didn't have first or fourth no matter what I did. That was extremely frustrating. I'm sure that if you're watching this, you already know that. Also, was having problems with the gauges and my speedometer and tachometer. Everything else seemed to work okay. As soon as I hit 40 miles an hour, I would lose power on the speedo and go back to zero. The shifting issue was intermittent. Sometimes it'd come on, and you know from your shift indicator light that it was either going to work or wasn't going to work in first gear. Seemed to got going first, second, third. As soon as it got into third gear, again over 40 miles an hour, it would get stuck there, and then you'd be stuck in third gear. So what happened is went to go troubleshoot the problem, went up to AutoZone, and got these receipts out. This is just the code reader. So the code that was thrown, you can't really read this on this camera. I will read it to you. Is P0740, which tells you that the torque converter clutch enable circuit is either shorting or it's low, and the voltage remained high. So there's something wrong with the torque converter clutch power supply. And this one, P1860. I wish you guys could read this. Anyway. It said that the TCC PWM solenoid electrical fault. Explanation: the computer has detected improper voltage level on the TCC PWM solenoid circuit. So the problem with this is if you read it, it's either a bad solenoid in your transmission. So it could be the torque converter clutch solenoid, also the lockup, called the lockup solenoid, and the other one is a there's an enabling circuit. So there's actually, when you go and look in your transmission, there's two of those. My original thought was to say that it's bad solenoid, so I need to pull the pan, and because your solenoids are up underneath the pan. So before I did that, I'll show you what I did out there in the truck to actually figure this thing out, which could actually be very cost effective for you. The other thing was, what else am I trying to tell? I changed the vehicle speed sensor because I thought that might be an issue throwing that. And from what I've read online and on forums and stuff, it seems like a lot of guys end up changing out their vehicle control module, or the PCM, the electronic control module. Basically, the giant computer in your truck, which can cost anywhere from, what I've read, $150 to $300. Plus, you have to have it flashed to match your vehicle VIN number, which can be kind of a pain in the ass when you're dealing with a dealership. Called around for that. It's about $100 to do that. What it ended up being was actually a whole lot simpler. As we climb into the driver's side here, you can see I've got the steering wheel open. I ended up changing this unit out. It was about $60 because my hazard light broke, and because my hazard light was busted. I didn't have turn signals, and I thought that a short in this unit may have been causing a short to the computer. So that ended up not being the issue, but I had to fix it anyway so I could have turn signals. Basically pulled the airbag to do this unit, and already had the column taken apart. So through troubleshooting and a little bit more reading, found out it's actually what it is that was causing this whole problem was this guy right here. It's the ignition control module. It hooks up to the block barrel, and it plugs in to a harness right there, right down underneath. So I haven't put everything back together yet, but basically this unit on the side and this unit over here both plug into this harness underneath the dash, and that changing out this unit didn't fix anything. Changing this, my problems went away immediately. So before you go pulling your transmission pan, I would suggest doing this. I got the part at AutoZone for $120. I found it online afterwards for $60, $65, something like that on eBay by A1 Auto Parts. That's where I got this actual unit, so I know that the units they sell are pretty decent. Once I installed this one, I pretty much wasn't going to take it out otherwise. You know, I'd have gotten the $60 part if I had known. But this is what the harness looks like. Here's the old one. I went through and checked it for, you know, for splits or anything in the wires, and I really don't have a good voltmeter. So, I mean, I'm sure you could check it and find, you know, your lead or your issue, but really, it's not worth your time. It's a pretty simple thing. You've got two plugins here that go to the lock barrel, and you know, it basically there's one bolt that goes through this guy here that you just have to undo. It's a really long bolt, so take your time when you're undoing it. 4 times I think I thought I had it undone and wasn't quite there yet. Really simple change to do. Haven't reinstalled the airbag. Let you know how that goes. But it was easy enough to take out. The biggest thing you want to remember when doing this unit is you want to either go buy E-sockets. You need an E4 socket. They're an inverse torque head. You need to get those, because there's these two guys right here. There's one over here that's actually missing because I dropped it out of my bike saddlebag, but that one's not needed. This one, however, does ground the circuit, or this module, to the column, which I believe is just its power ground. But there's this little tiny screw in there. I wish I had a better camera to take a photo of this, but it looks like the head of a torque driver. I needed a socket that fits over it. It's an E4 size socket, and it needs to be a long neck socket to reach in there. I was able to get around it by, when of course all this is unplugged, you just stick a Allen key in here and put the ignition barrel into start position and push down on the Allen key, and you can actually pull the barrel out. And in doing so, I was able to get in there with a pair of pliers. Not these guys. They're a similar version of these, but just with teeth on them, and not quite as long. So, wish I could find it to show you the pliers. Anyways, but it does take some time to do. You need to, I mean, you're really only working these pliers, you know, at 32nd of a turn every time to get it out, but a little bit of patience, about 10 minutes, got it out. Wasn't overly horrible. So that's, I think that's something that would have helped me a lot. It's taken me about a week to troubleshoot this thing and really figure it out. All in all, it was, knowing what you know now, if you have similar issues, it would take you about roughly 2 hours to change that unit, and it would cost you around $60 with standard hand tools and a little bit of automotive knowledge. You can find videos and instructions on how to remove this. I really won't go into it too much. It took about 10 minutes to do. It's really not that difficult. Everything else is pretty easy. You do have to take the dash plate off, both top and bottom, and there's a couple of metal brackets that go across this front end here, but like I said, it's pretty much basic. I could get a 10-year-old to do this, so it's really not that hard. So all in all, I hope that helps anybody who's troubleshooting with this issue, and hopefully that helps you out, because it's kind of frustrating when you don't know where to go. So before you go flashing the computer, or before you go changing out your solenoids in your transmission, I would suggest checking that thing, because it was pretty easy and solved the problem. So hope this helps. Good luck, and have a good day.